Hey Scrappers, it's Vanessa here with the She's Crafty mini paper pad hop, and we are on week 8, I believe, and so I am using the sketch that I showed at the beginning, and it's going to pop up here on the screen in just a moment. This is the sketch for week 8, and I am using the mini paper pad that I had chosen. So I've already used all of my paper pads, so this is the second layout I'm creating with this one, and this was the Simple Stories, and I honestly can't remember what the collection for this one was called, but it's the one about sort of cleaning your house or tidying up, and I showed the paper pad at the beginning, so you might have caught the name, but that's the one I'm using, and I've pulled all of these different pattern papers for my layout from that paper pad. So I end up, when it's all said and done, I think this paper pad, there is not a ton of papers left. I think it started with 24, and I want to say that there's less than half, so that's really good for only having created 2 layouts. I used lots of different patterns, which allowed me to use up quite a bit of the paper pad. Now the first thing that I'm going to do here is just take my 3 photos, and I am using 3 photos just like the sketch is showing, and I am just layering up some of the papers behind each of the photos for this layout. And I do have my background papers there behind my cutting, my little guillotine cutter there. I have a notebook type of paper in a teal and then a teal cardstock, and so those are going to act as my background. So I am using a piece of pattern paper for a background, which is, my norm is going for white cardstock, so this was nice to use, again, another piece of pattern paper. For the sketch itself, I am going to flip the sketch so I don't use it in the orientation that you see on the screen right now. I end up flipping it around so that the 2 photos that are at the top actually are at the bottom, and so then that one photo will be at the top and it will be coming out from the left instead of the right. So that is sort of going to be the change up that I'm going to do a bit for this sketch. Apart from that, pretty much most of the layers and things I keep almost identical to the sketch. And so while I've been sort of talking about what I do with the sketch, I've been cutting all these strips, and these strips are what I'm going to use to layer up to match the paper strips that you see behind the photos in the sketch itself. So I've just picked, like I said, a whole bunch of different patterns from that same paper pad, and I'm just layering them, or going to cut them all up so I can layer them all here on my page. So that's why this one was a great sketch to use up a ton of pattern papers from that paper pad, because I was able to pick a whole bunch. Some of them were scraps from past layouts, so I did utilize what I had left over from the past layout that I created with this, and then I took out some new ones. So really great way to use up not only your scraps, but quite a bit of one paper pad. So here you see I am just building up those layers underneath my photos and placing them where I have now rotated them for this page. And so I'm really liking how bright and sort of happy this layout is. I will say that if you are a themed scrapper and you like to use elements on your pages that are themed to whatever it is that's happening in the photo, you are going to like this this video, because I am not one who typically uses a lot of themed embellishments. But for this one, I actually had in my How to Kill a Kit with Style some sort of ice cream or sundae related elements, and so I ended up pulling those out of my How to Kill a Kit with Style for February, as well as some other things from my stash, and I am going to use those up. So I am going to actually have a picture about making ice cream sundaes and have actual ice creams on the page. This isn't so, I don't normally have to match my embellishments to whatever my theme of my page, but I figured since I had these in my kit this month that I would pull them out, and it worked out perfectly. So Like I said, if you like the themed sort of elements on your page, this is a great one because I am definitely pulling out those pieces and they're going to go on this page. So there you saw I have that little ice cream cart, and then I am sort of using those hearts almost as a embellishment cluster, like the largest piece that kind of grounds the cluster. And so those hearts are going to go in each of my embellishment clusters that you see me building here. And I will have 3 embellishment clusters. And then I am adding those ice creams. There's a few that are chipboard as well, and those came from the Maggie Holmes sweets treats or sweet stuff line that she had. I can't remember the actual name of it, but I add those in so I have a little bit of dimension with some of the embellishments as well. I kept the title for this one super simple, and it is just going to be Sundae something. It's been a while since I created this one, so I apologize. I can't actually remember what I made the full title. So I know it's Sundae something. I guess we're going to find out together because I honestly forget what I used. Or making Sundays, making our own, something like that. I apologize. I had filmed this a while back and I honestly can't remember what I put the title. So I guess make your own Sundae. There you go. Because this is some photos of my kiddos and some ice cream and toppings to create their own sundaes. This is what we did the first weekend after school was done. And so it is sort of the perfect time to have an ice cream sundae party because, well, the kids start their summer vacation and they're all happy. So that is what the pictures are sort of documenting. And so now that I have my clusters done and my title is down, so I know where everything is going to go, I will glue everything permanently down off camera. But once I had everything in place, I took out my stencil template, which is just some big circles, or a big circle template with lots of little circles so you can make sort of concentric type circles. And I just took my pencil through that stencil and created the circles of where I was going to place my sequins, because that's what I'm going to use in place of probably what was stitching on the sketch. And so I showed you the first little bit of that, and I did not make you watch sort of the painstaking process of putting all of those down and gluing them down, but I do really love how it looks. And so I glued those sequins down and everything else off camera, and then I realized that I did not add any stamping to this layout, and that is something I'm trying to do. So I pulled out just an arrow stencil just to give a little bit of a directional element to the clusters, and so I put a little stamped arrow in each cluster, and I'm going to call that perfect for stamping, getting that on this layout. To finish up my layout, I am just adding some of these huge enamel dots, and I'm hiding them behind my embellishment clusters because they are gigantic and I have a hard time using them. So I'm just kind of throwing those in amongst the layers so that you can kind of see them peeking out. And with that, I'm going to add my background, and here are the still photos. So guys, I will have the links to everyone who's playing along with Sharon's class in the description box below. Be sure to check them out, and I will be back next week with another layout. So with that, guys, I will catch you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.